Please, the show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
But we're gonna have to start calling a thing because I saw a post today of a girl who went on a date, told the man that her cost $1,000, and then she became a fiance and tried to put us onto game of her system and how it works. Baby, that's work. It's prostitution. Let's just say that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Get your
12 o'clock on the dot. Got Mon Dukes at Frankie's in there joint. Going on Mon Dukes at Frankie's.
Oh my God! Look at this. 12 o'clock.
Wait, Chanel, don't play with her.
Please don't. Oh my God, y'all.
You got that fat booty.
I didn't buy this on eBay. This thing real.
Blue. Hey, that noise clap.
5 signs someone is emotionally immature. Number 5, they never apologize. Someone who's emotionally immature avoids apologizing because typically apologizing hurts their ego. Instead, they resort to defense mechanisms such as deflecting blame or defensiveness. The 4th sign that someone is emotionally immature is that someone always has an answer for everything. Again, this is an ego problem. Someone who's emotionally immature having to admit that they don't know something really hurts their ego.
Women telling women to manipulate men on the internet is not considered toxic. But defending men and telling them to avoid those type of women is.
Why we not talk? Well, let's talk about it.
We live. We live.
Yeah.
That's the show, Dada!
The last 7 days have been totally insane, but we made it. Now buckle up and get ready for the most organic conversation on the internet with your hosts, the Force, the King, the Kamikaze, the Great and Terrible. Up to it, down to it. Pour a glass and talk some trash. Welcome to the show, and thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a good time tonight right along with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Let's go up to it.
What it do?
Welcome, everybody. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Assuming we can still call you that. Yeah, we're going to talk about that later, too. But welcome back to another Friday night episode of Up to It, Down to It with your Friday Night Delights, your boys out here in these streets. I am the Great and Terrible and got plenty of things to bring your way on this good evening. I hope everybody's having a good day. And if you're not having a good day, hopefully this will help you feel better. Hopefully you're having a good week. And if not, hopefully this will help you feel better. I encourage everybody to grab a drink, whatever you prefer to drink on, whether it be water, wine, or other, and just be prepared to have some fun with us today as we uncover some of the wild stuff, the wild things that are happening in our world right here, right now. But enough about that, enough of me flapping my gums. Let's get down to some of these intros because I got a shot right here with my name on it. So let's get on down to business. We're going to start with the intros. My man's right here. He's on, well, okay, this side. There we go. He's on my left on the screen, on my right on my screen. But y'all know what he is. He's got on the best dad ever shirt, representing for all the black dads out here in the street. Our boy, the immovable force. Kev, talk to us, good brother. How you feeling?
it has been a whirlwind few weeks. Well, one, shout out to y'all, for holding it down a few weeks ago when I couldn't be here. I don't think I got to thank y'all for that. But of course, we weren't here last weekend. They were celebrating Rich's birthday. I was a junior all state, so a lot of things were being taken care of. So shout out to Rich. We're gonna pour it up for you one time tonight. And for that reason, we're gonna break out something new. All right, the Trinidad rum, straight from Trinidad. Okay, one of my admins hooked me up with this one. It was like, appreciate all the work you do in the building. It just doesn't make sense if you're not there. So want to thank you appropriately. So we're gonna crack this, just because we got a reason to celebrate. Happy 40th to my boy Rich. If this don't do exactly what I needed to, then we got the old faithful private stock sitting to the side of that. But I feel like we're gonna have ourselves a good time. I can smell the oh mercy, mercy. Um, yeah, y'all. Wait a second. Just all right. We ready? Put this in the air for Rich. This is where we at right now. In the air for Rich.
Let's go.
Hey,
We sipping
whoa,
all night. Shout out
whoa.
to all of my people in here in the 40 and up. Shout out to 40 plus out here, man. They say for us 80 babies, 40 is the new 30. Might even be the new 25. We out here
Probably new
looking fine like
25.
wine. Probably more
You know what
like
I'm
the new
saying?
25. But I'm
Whoa.
gonna kick it down
That's
to
right.
the fans, right? My LB, Ace Boon Coon down here at the bottom. My guy, the king, new to the 40 and up club. Rich, talk to us, my brother.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? I'm doing fine like wine. I hope you are too. And of course, getting better with time, right? Real quick, it's one that came to my phone. It's a message that came to my phone, and I was like, "This is perfect." It talks about determination. It says determination is the decision to stick with what you have committed to. Stick with what you have committed to. God has brought you too far to turn back now. Keep going. Don't quit. So I know I've talked a lot about discernment and some other things, but this one right here, discipline, right? But this one right here, that determination, keep going. Don't quit. That's strong. Take that with you. Tonight, though, all right, tonight, I have my birthday gifts with me. All right. So I'm going to do it real quick. So I got this from my sister and brother-in-law. Bless their heart, right? Wow, look at that. Why inside of this box here, right? Came four glasses. I got these stone ice cubes, right? Stone ice cubes is dope. That doesn't melt, right? And then this bad boy right here, which will be filled up sooner rather than later. It's got the R on there. It's got the Norvell label on there. Fire, right? And then I got another birthday gift. I'm gonna crack this open because I don't even know. I think I've seen, maybe heard of this before, but this bad boy right here, yeah, that's about to get cracked open. And of course, for a king, I got the Crown Royals out. And Kev, I saw you got that. Was that Royal Oak? The Royal Oak. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Put that on a T-shirt, and the Pie of the Bros is all over that because that's anyway. Now the other thing I got that I'm gonna show off, and check this out. So this is a six shooter shot glass, right? Dispenser. So you pour the the liqueur in here or whatever it is, you shooting, and mine's just gonna be liqueur, right? Liquor. And it pours out simultaneously six. So it's like a speed. If you want to hurry up and get six people some shots, you just pour those shots, you good to go. Pour it right in here. You got six shots ready to go. And at the bottom here, it's got this little stopper so you can close it if you only got five or four people. You know what I'm saying? If you only got four people, you can close two of them. Boom, you can pour four shots instantly. Really love this gift from my stepson who, we all took a shot. So, shot of water, okay, people, calm down. Shot of water, you know. So listen, he know the bros are in the building, and we're gonna have a good time. We have a good time here all the time, and we're gonna have a good time tonight. So get ready because it's a lot to talk about, a lot, and we're gonna talk about it
We gonna get right into it. Why does he know that would be a birthday gift? The shot the
because he knows
boys.
we're the bros. He come
He
on,
know
come on,
the bros
come
is
on.
in the building.
He know we're the bros.
And I'm not saying that when my students like travel out of town, they bring me back shot glasses, but I'm not saying that they don't.
Enough said.
Enough said. If you from a different place, send us a shot glass. We're gonna put it on the screen. We're gonna put it on the screen. I'm just saying. Just saying. Let's make that a thing. All right, but yeah, man, that as y'all see, we have the party ready to get started, man. Big shout out as always to the comment section. Y'all always bring the fire. Y'all make it fun for us. We plan on talking back to y'all tonight. So definitely jump in the comments, man. Make your voices heard. Let us know what you think about all the stuff. We gonna let you know what we think about. So, that's pretty much it. Kev, you had a bewildered look on your face just now.
Um, how do because our screens are a little new. How do I see the comments? Never mind. I'm there. We're good. We're good.
He got it. He
Yeah,
got it.
I don't
We
know.
live.
We all the way.
We,
We
we
all the
got
way live.
upgrades happening, man. We got people got two screens now, and
Yes, man. One for the
new
one for the
computers.
plug and one for the load.
There we
Hey,
go.
hey,
There we go. Oh, I forgot to
real
mention
world.
too. The cups they got the same thing on it. It's got the R right there, and then the Norvell label. Wow,
That that, that don't
this is
inspire.
dope. This
Yeah,
is
that
dope.
that shit is fire.
And we forgot to mention
Established.
no Aquafina.
Oh yeah, yeah. No.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-uh.
We don't. I went somewhere recently, man, and all they had was doggone Aquafina. I was like, man, I'm glad I brought my water bottle. Which reminds me, y'all should go on Amazon and get y'all that little 40, the 40-ounce water bottle or bigger. If you, I think I got 64. Actually, I got 64 ounce. 64-ounce water bottle is 10. Right, keeps your water cold literally all day long. If you put ice in it, it'll keep your water cold for 2 days long. That way, if you end up at an unfortunate event where they have Aquafina, you don't have to worry about being dehydrated. Just
Listen,
saying. I want you guys to be safe out here.
you're gonna have to send the link.
Oh, say less. Drop that link in the comments. I'm gonna do it. Not now though. Later. All right. Let's get into it, man. I want to start with this one because all of us are native Washingtonians, and you two are still on the Washington bandwagon, Washington Redskins football team / Commanders bandwagon. I'm not mad at you. I just happened to jump off a long time ago. I ain't mad. I saw where the train was going. It looked like it was going over a cliff, so I jumped off. You know what I'm saying? Just call it what it is. But with that being said, we have an interesting story here. Did you know that there is an organization, NAGA, right? Is the Native American Guardians Association. All right. Um, they are effectively suing the Washington Commanders franchise, essentially to get them to go back to using the name the Washington Redskins. Now, before we go into all the details, there's a couple of things I want to point out for context purposes. Number one, they got 60,000 signatures on this petition to change the name back to the Redskins. Okay, 60,000 names. Number two, there were three independent polls, one on NBC, one on MSNBC, and I believe I don't remember where the other one was. I don't remember the other one, but there was three polls that I saw, and in all three of those independent polls, 90% of Native Americans said that they had no problem with the name Redskins. They had no problem calling it. They said that it wasn't. They didn't see it as a racist name. And many of them on the MSNBC poll, 90% of them said that the term Washington Redskins made them feel proud of their heritage. Now, subsequently, one survey was done where I believe 67% said that they did find it racist. And I think that survey was conducted over about 200 people, 200 or 300 people. It wasn't that many. But about 2/3 of them said that they didn't want the name. And so we all know what happened after that. Not long, not long ago, the Skins changed their name to the football team. They went nameless for a season, and then to the Commanders. Fellas, what are your thoughts?
Shouldn't have changed in the first place.
Same.
That's easy.
Same.
You know,
Change it back.
it shouldn't have changed in the first place. I don't. If the real history of the name was brought to the forefront, right? If who was really at the forefront of changing this name?
White liberal Democrats.
And so,
Just saying.
Change it back.
So it should have never changed.
Change it back. Yesterday.
I think I said a few episodes back that I don't believe the Redskins will win anything until they change their name back to Redskins. It's like some kind of curse or something like that. They're not gonna win nothing until they change their name back. I agree with you. I don't think they should have changed the name in the first doggone place. And it was them and I believe the Cleveland Indians that changed their name to the Guardians. They were the ones that succumbed to this woke nonsense. And I noticed other teams didn't change anything. Chiefs, Braves, Blackhawks, they ain't changed nothing. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? I want to play.
I want to change it back.
I agree. They just bring it back straight up. I want to play a clip for y'all real quick from one of the guys from NAGA, not to be confused with MAGA
or nigger.
Confused with MAGA. Yeah,
nigga.
Nah. Yeah, NAGA.
That's my NAGA. That's my NAGA right there.
Yeah, there we go.
My NAGA.
Let me play this video for y'all real quick and kind of get an idea of what their whole argument is. And again, I know you guys feel the same way, like change the name before our viewers here. Let's add a little bit of context on why we believe they should not have changed the name in the first place. So let's get to it. Here we go.
You're not Native American yourself, are you?
No, not.
So, Tony, you're not Native American, but you're trying to be the voice of Native Americans. So explain to me more, why do you feel like Native Americans will embrace this Redskins name more than the ones that feel like it's offensive?
Well, it's documented. You can go back to 2004 Annenberg study, 90% there that were polled love the name Redskins. Okay, it was repeated again in 2016 by the Washington Post. No friend, by the way, to the name Redskins. And again, they came up with a 90% approval of Native Americans. These are independent polling agencies using polling science, making sure that they adjust their polling data to census bureaus. And they are 100% lock, stock, and barrel showing that Native Americans love the name Redskins. And in 2019, they tried again, the Washington Post. And in 2019, they asked 40 different views or words of what do you think when you hear the word Redskin? And the one most often responded back was proud. This is their feelings. To me, it seems to me that we should be listening to the Native Americans on the subject and not listening to the 10% or the minority that do not feel like the 90%. The 90% are quite offended that people don't think that they are smart enough to have an opinion that may not equate with what the cancel culture is doing out there.
Do you feel like if there is just 10% that actually feels offensive, that we should actually respect their feelings Because there are people, almost like if you have doubt, leave it out?
No. If 90%, there's 10 people and 9 of them you're making mad by pulling away their history and taking away their culture. This is what's going on across America. In New York State, in Colorado, 3 different high schools in Michigan just recently. The Chiefs, the Braves, the Warriors, the Flaming Arrows, all of these different Native American names and imagery are being eradicated. They're being canceled.
I just want to say that Flaming Arrows is a hilarious name. That's a hilarious title for a mascot. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. All right, let's keep going.
Darren, this is very offensive to the vast majority of Native Americans. It's okay to disagree. We live in a majority rural society, not a mob rule. And to require that 100% of anybody agree on anything, hell, we can't agree, what to have for dinner. We can't agree on anything. And 90% is a super majority.
Yeah, so that's that, everybody. Y'all saw that, y'all heard that, y'all got a little bit of that. I don't know. I think 90% is enough to tell the other 10%, simmer down now. We understand you're offended. If you're offended, you can choose another team. You can not go to the game, whatever, but sit your ass down.
You ain't got to buy no merchandise.
And we won't be offended if you don't.
90% of us.
90% of us won't be offended if
if you don't.
It's just an insane thought to me that the voice of the minority is so loud. We have people who are not by any stretch majority rule, and yet they are the loudest voices in the room. Right? The squeaky wheel gets the oil, as as something my mom used to teach me. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, and these people are squeaking. So, and it's not just them. It's not just them. It's this next group we get ready to talk about. This being Women's History Month. Shout out to all the women out here. The real ones with real vaginas. And with that being said, I want to turn to this headline real quick. Did y'all see this? Swimmers and other athletes sue the NCAA over their transgender policies. So for those of you who don't remember, you have Riley Gaines. Y'all remember Riley Gaines, who was a very accomplished swimmer. If I'm not mistaken, she tied Leah Thomas, who is a biological man. She tied him a couple years back. They gave the title to the championship to Leah Thomas, and Leah and other biological men have been, fighting to get into women's sports. And this group, at least, it seems, is speaking up against that. Fellas, I know we kind of say this kind of thing all the time, but what, are we being unfair in saying that, women belong in women's sports and biological men belong in male sports? Are we being unreasonable here?
Did we not see what Joanna Man did?
They definitely had a movie about it.
Can we just listen?
If we're talking about fairness, right? We're talking about fairness. We're talking about fairness, right? Is that really fair? Right? Come on, man.
Someone who is born naturally stronger, faster, whatever, more. And a couple weeks ago, we showed the video of doing it the right way. The girl
So
who did her thing, got into like and like legitimately as a girl with a real vagina beat guys. Like, so if you do it the right way. Like, and I'm not opposed to transgender people having a lane to compete in, but it should not, like, it needs to be their own lane. It needs to be their own lane.
Yeah, it needs to be their
I
actual
mean,
lane, not the lane they identify as.
yeah.
It's how absurd is that idea in the first place? Go ahead, LB.
Now I was gonna say even with her, I feel like that was weight class against weight class, and being that young, the thought to me is like, all right, let's see if she can keep that going, as she starts challenging males of an older age now, 25, and so that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. When it comes to uh, the females that want to compete against females, the biological women who want to compete against biological women, I definitely think that it's a disadvantage when you have a biological male who feels like they're a woman. That's a complete disadvantage to the females who are trying to compete. Like if they again, it if they wanted to compete against males, then they would be fighting for this equality of an all inclusive sport. And so maybe that's what's needed, is hey, why don't we have this all inclusive league over here or competition?
Well,
Because,
because you can't really with like physical sports.
hey, listen, again, the only way to really make it fair is to have that option available for those people. Well,
Yeah,
quote unquote
and
fair. Quote unquote
yeah,
fair. Because
and yeah,
otherwise,
yeah, good point.
because what about those women that just want to compete against biological women?
Which is the
Because
majority of women.
which is fair.
Easily at least 90%.
Which is fair.
It's not fair at all for the opposite
So,
sex to
so
compete
to
against the opposite sex. Like that's not right. It's not
to
right.
Kev's point, right? To Kev's point, the wrestler, right? The biological young lady that beat biological male, right?
Bunch of them.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? If you're now again, right? You're now identifying as a woman or whatever, right? You feel like a woman. You're identifying as a woman. Wouldn't you get more kudos for now being a woman who is competing against males and winning? Or is it that the fact that you can't compete against these males and win?
I mean, I
And
think
so
if we're
you
being
want
honest,
to and so you want to compete against women. I mean, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
these are just questions here.
If we're being honest, we know that as a case, like Leah Thomas was, I think ranked number 400 or something like that against the men, and he decided to put on a wig and a bathing suit, and the NCAA decided that they was going to let him go ahead and compete. Didn't have to go get no surgery or nothing. Still got his dick and balls hanging out, right? And they just said, oh yeah, this this guy this girl who's obviously and clearly a man is our women's champion. Like that's the part that doesn't make any sense to me, and I think that's unfair. That's unfair to women. Like that really we talk about the part of fairness. It would totally be fair if a bunch of guys could go compete against a bunch of women. That's fair for the men. It's not fair for the women. you know, and that's not to say that there aren't women athletes and fighters and so on that are tough as nails and can get the job done, right? We talked about Caitlin Clark a couple weeks ago and the records that she's breaking, that higher than scoring more points than anybody, male or female, in college basketball. That listen, fantastic. right? But you listen, as great as she is, I promise you, people in the D League would love to go up against a crew of Caitlin Clarks because people in the D League against a crew of Caitlin Clarks would look like a crew of LeBron James and KD's.
Right.
And it's nothing against her. It's just biologically, we're not the same. And so it's not fair to women on this Women's History Month. It's not fair to women to allow men to put on woman face and compete against you.
Keep women again.
Keep women.
Again.
I don't.
I guess
I don't.
again.
KWWG.
I don't.
I don't know.
I don't know.
People would have to be able to define what a woman is.
I thought we. Okay.
I mean, we did, yeah, we did.
Okay.
We defined what a
All
woman
right. I
is.
just. Okay,
We,
got you.
we know what a woman is, but
Got you.
we have plenty of other people in mainstream media and politics, the Supreme Court, who can't define what a woman is.
Mental health is a serious issue.
Whose quote is that? I may not know what it is, or I may not know how to define it, but I know it when I see it, or something along those lines. Check the Adam's apple, bro.
I'm about to say the funny thing is we all know a woman when we see one.
Yeah.
We all know a woman when we see one. And we all know a man that's presenting himself like a woman when we see one too. Some of y'all are really, really good actors.
Some.
But some.
But we know.
Most of you, it's pretty obvious that your bone structure is different. Women and men don't walk the same. Doesn't matter how much a woman tries to strut like a man, how much a man tries to sway like a woman. Men and women don't walk the same. Our hands aren't the same.
I'm a dude. He's a dude.
Oh, they took that serious.
Yeah, exactly. They took that real serious. They need therapy, man. I wasn't gonna do it. I see you. I wasn't gonna do it. Not yet. Soon. Not yet though.
There are so many cars.
So many, I'm sure. Facial feet. Thank you, Jo. Exactly. Facial features. Everything is completely different. And it's fine. Listen, I want every woman to hear this. We are not the same, and that's okay. I want you to hear it. I want you to hear it and say it with me. We are not the same, and that's okay. Okay? We're not equal. We have equal respect for each other as we should. We should have equal respect for each other and our skill sets and what we bring to the table that we don't ever want to talk about. We should respect equally those things. We should respect equally those things, but no, we are not the same, and no, we're not equal, and that's okay.
If we were created to be equal across the board, then we would all have an equal amount of estrogen and testosterone in our bodies. But we don't.
That's gross.
That's actually pretty.
So
pretty
we just throw science. We just throw science way out the window, and we're living in la la land. We're living in la la land. People's opinions, because it's not the truth. It's not the truth. We're living in opinions.
It's my truth.
And that's absurd. Like, how does your truth get to outweigh what has literally been everyone else's truth for centuries, for millennia?
I was in a high school youth group, and it was called Kiamsha. And one of the very first lessons that we learned in Kiamsha was about absolute truth. And absolute truth did not change based on circumstance. And that is
right
the way that we function. Absolute truth does not change based on your circumstance.
Right. The facts don't care about your feelings.
Shout out to
Facts don't care about your feelings,
Mm.
ladies and gentlemen. Assuming nothing's changed in the last 38 minutes, and we can still call you that.
because we will either way.
Because we are still going to call you that. I guarantee you I will. I guarantee you I will. I'm not playing the pronoun game. I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing that game. No, I'm not playing by your rules. No, I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm not gonna lie to my kids. And identifying as whatever. I mean, I don't give a shit what you identify as, but I'm not gonna play that game. You be a fucking lampshade for all I give a shit. identifies whatever the crap you want, but I'm not playing that game. Which
All right, what's
reminds
next?
me, actually. My bad. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm saying what's next.
Yeah, man. Look, yeah, we're not doing that, man. But
Yeah.
and that's it's a sign. Actually, you kind of want me to. It's a sign of emotional immaturity. And if you looked at the headline, that's kind of what we're talking about tonight. Is emotional immaturity, right? Is emotionally immature, I think, to feel a certain way and expect everybody else to go along with that feeling, even though what you feel is objectively untrue. That's completely immature, if you ask me. But I want to dive into these 5 signs of emotional immaturity. We're going to dive into all 5, and then we can break them down one by one. Let's get to it.
Mercy. This is a
5 signs someone is emotionally immature. Number 5, they never apologize. Someone who's emotionally immature avoids apologizing because typically apologizing hurts their ego. Instead, they resort to defense mechanisms such as deflecting blame or defensiveness. The 4th sign that someone is emotionally immature is that someone always has an answer for everything. Again, this is an ego problem. Someone who's emotionally immature having to admit that they don't know something really hurts their ego. Admitting that you don't know something and saying something like, I don't know about this, I need to do more research, is what an emotionally mature person would do. The 3rd sign that someone's emotionally immature is when they're passive aggressive. Being passive aggressive is a subtle way to put people down, and it usually stems from a place of moral superiority. It's important to learn to accept other people's worldviews, even if they differ completely from yours. The number 2 sign of an emotionally mature person is guilt tripping. Someone who's emotionally mature will guilt trip others in order to manipulate their behavior. An example of guilt tripping would be someone saying, if you were my true friend, you would do this for me. Number 1 sign of emotional immaturity is using the silent treatment. This is a manipulative tactic to punish someone who's not behaving the way they want them to. 5 signs someone is emotionally
Ooh, that was heavy. I feel like that's gonna require some cards later. That's why I said I think this is gonna be a G&T night. That's what I think. Um, y'all want to go through these one by one, or did anything jump out to y'all first?
it's the not apologizing.
Mm.
Um, like it's the not apologizing, and I don't know how to get away from that one. Like, and because we human, so like feel whatever you feel in the moment, cool. But like after you've had some time to like process whatever it is you felt, like, and you like really like put some logic to what your feelings thought they were, and you realize, yo, I was legitimately wrong in that situation, like your emotionally mature self would come back and apologize, and that's it. Like, I made this joke a while ago and was like, men apologize by asking, are you hungry? And women apologize by saying, what you doing? Like, people don't, you know like people don't apologize. And it's a bad example all around, and we've had this conversation before. It's why we apologize to our kids, because we want them to understand, like, as much as we are, like, over you as your parents, just like what dude said, you know, we don't have all the answers. So sometimes our approach to something is just going to be wrong. And, you know, it is what it is in the moment, but we can come back and say, hey, you know, I lashed out at you and like I shouldn't have done that. I want you to know I'm sorry. Like, and you like that's a good like establishment for like effective communication, relationship building, trust. Like if someone can see that you're willing to admit when you're wrong, like that's a green flag. So, you know, just that's the one that pops out to me, the not being willing to apologize.
It's emotionally immature. Number 5, they never.
There we go. And it's funny because that's that's the first one that they mentioned was, you know, not apologizing. That's the probably one of the biggest signs. LB, what do you think, man? What jumped out to you?
Man, all right. So, yeah. So we live. We live. I would say the guilt trip. I mean, all of them stuck out. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the guilt trip. Um, that definitely. It's like you're trying to. It's a form of manipulation. Um, so yeah, I can see how, you know, that is. Uh, you know, yeah, and also to what Kev was saying, like I feel like not apologizing is like, did you even really get over it? Then, did you process it? Did you, you know? And I think that kind of ties in. Like, did you really get over it, or are you now trying to guilt trip me into, you know, this thing over here? You know, you're trying to guilt trip me into, you know, just doing your bidding, and you're gonna hang this over my head. You know, so um, definitely heavy. You know,
Or the guilt trip, like, you know, I forgave you, but I'm gonna bring it up, you know,
I'm gonna
every
keep
3 weeks.
bringing it up.
Yeah,
Keep
like
bringing it
that
up.
ain't that's not forgiveness. Like,
Then you
you
didn't
know,
get over it.
right? No one's asking you to forget, but if you say I forgive you, I shouldn't be hearing about this every chance you get.
Yeah, I think
And the reason you're
it's
not
an ugly thing
forgetting
to
is
have
so
a
that it doesn't.
combination. My bad. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
no,
LB.
I was just saying the reason you're not forgetting is because you don't want it to happen again. You want to be able to recognize it when it happens, but you don't want to just, you know, bring it up, you know, every single time. You know,
Yeah, that's an interesting dichotomy, if you will. Somebody who one won't apologize and two won't forgive. You know what I mean? That's huge right there. Like you won't apologize, you won't ask for forgiveness, and you also won't grant forgiveness, which is both things are insane to me. I'm gonna say the one that jumped out to me the most was number one, and that was the silent treatment.
Mm.
Um, Not apologizing, of course, is very, very, very key. But that silent treatment thing, and a lot of women I've seen use this tactic. I'm just not gonna talk to him because they did whatever, you know, because I want him to do whatever, whatever. So I'm just gonna give him the cold shoulder and that kind of thing. Like that is that, and it's not like I said. I see a lot of women do it. I'm not saying men don't do it, but I particularly see a lot of women do that to their men, to their boyfriend. That one jumped out to me because that is absolutely a manipulation tactic. You know, of course, if I care about you, I of course want to interact with you. I, of course, want to talk to you, speak with you. You know, but you're so butthurt about whatever this thing is that you wanted me to do that I won't do. That instead of us talking about it and kind of coming to a compromise and working our way through it, you decide you're just gonna X that person out. That's incredibly immature. And like I said, I see people do that, at all kinds of ages. So that's the one I think that stood out to me the most, um, outside of never apologizing. And there was a couple of other ones in there. Let's take another quick look through.
5, they never apologize. Someone who's emotionally immature avoids apologizing because typically apologizing hurts their ego. Instead, they resort to defense mechanisms such as deflecting blame or defensiveness. The fourth sign that someone is emotionally immature is that someone always has an answer for everything. Again, this is an ego problem. Someone who's emotionally immature having to admit that they don't know something really hurts their ego. Admitting that you don't know something and saying something like, I don't know about this, I need to do more research, is what an emotionally mature person would do.
That's an interesting one right there. Okay, let's get into that a little bit. The person that can never um, uh, essentially admit that they don't know something, or admit that they could have been wrong about something, could have been wrong in their way of thinking. Um, I think we all know some people like that. I just had a couple people pop into my head as I was saying those words. You said people that just, again, not being able to apologize, but then, and some of these people, all the above, not being able to apologize, and then also you can't tell them nothing because they can't be wrong about anything.
What you mean? Google has the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Huh. And Google's never wrong, right?
Ever.
Yeah, I heard they're not allowed to put things on the internet that aren't true. I'm just saying. And some people act like that. Some people act like, oh, just because it's on the internet, it has to be true. I mean, and that's not necessarily the case either.
Wasn't that the case with Facebook? If it wasn't on Facebook, it's not
on
official.
Facebook, it ain't happened.
It ain't official.
It ain't really happened. Show me the Facebook video.
Show me the relationship status.
Yeah, I'm in a new relationship now. Your Facebook says you single.
I just got married. You ain't changed your last name on Facebook.
Yeah.
That young lady really give me the blues about that, about not changing, the Facebook status. I changed it when I got married, but everything before that wasn't that. So I changed it when I got married.
So you either single or you married, right?
Well, right. I'm just saying. How did you file your taxes before you were married?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I think that's a huge one right there. We got work to do, man. Let's look at this third one.
The third sign that someone's emotionally immature is when they're passive aggressive. Being passive aggressive is a subtle way to put people down, and it usually stems from a place of moral superiority. It's important to learn to accept other people's worldviews, even if they differ completely from yours.
That's triggering. A passive aggressive just it triggers me. I have such a long history with passive aggressive, and I hate it. Like, don't like hint at something. Say it with your chest.
Say what you mean what you say. If we mad about it, we'll be mad about it. We'll fight about it later, but say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah. I feel like I at times I used to use passive aggressiveness as a means of trying not to create more drama. But in itself, that passive aggressiveness can create more drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I need people I'm involved with, especially if we're talking about in like a relationship, like a romantic relationship. I need to know when we just finished having a discussion and you got a thought about something. I need to know. I need you to tell me what that thought is, because I'm gonna tell you mine. Because I don't want you asking no questions. I don't want you playing no guessing games. I'm gonna tell you what my thoughts are. I remember when I first when my wife and I first got together, that was one of the things I would tell her. Like, we would argue about something, and she would just be like, "Okay, all right, whatever," and I'd be like, "No, speak up, speak your piece. Say what you gotta say. I'll hear you. I might not agree, but I'm gonna hear you, and you need to speak your piece." You know what I mean? And she's learned how to do that very well. Uh, but I think that that's how it should be. Like you should be able to speak your piece. I'll speak my piece. We might not agree, but say what you got to say. Don't pretend.
Say what you mean to say.
Anyway,
That
all
was the
right.
jam.
What we on three?
Now,
Yeah, that was the jam.
I was going to
That
say, I
was the
will
jam.
say this though. Like, for me, there is a point though where I realize that like the conversation isn't like has ceased to be productive, and at that point, I withdraw. And that's not me like saying I can't. It's I know this is not productive anymore. So like to stay in that place is not going to yield anything. Um,
Right.
and that's
But you made the attempt though.
yeah.
Yeah. You made the attempt to find common ground, and now you realize we're not going to find common ground here. So, okay, I'm gonna go on about my business and do things my way, right?
Because what choice do you have?
Right.
Tried
Right.
all the therapy tactics in the world, and when people are not responsive, you gotta.
Some people are brick walls, and they tend to be those people that were number four, right? Number five, they can't apologize, and was number four, they can't be wrong about nothing, right? They can't admit that they don't know something, you know. Hey, it's crazy how all these things are tying up. All right, let's keep it going. Probably stay on that one for a
The
minute.
number 2 sign of an emotionally mature person is guilt tripping. Someone who's emotionally mature will guilt trip others in order to manipulate their behavior. An example of guilt tripping would be someone saying, "If you were my true friend, you would do this for me." No.
Okay, guilt tripping. Rich, I think you brought this up earlier.
Yeah, man. That guilt tripping. You know, again, I feel like it's just it's a way of manipulation. Um, the guilt tripping is it's a way of throwing it back on, not dealing with anything on your end, and just trying to push the responsibility, the blame, all of that on the other person, and not dealing with your what you were responsible for, uh, in that action. You're just not accountable, um, at all.
As a high school teacher, I'm actually, and I tell my students this all the time. I don't want to know y'all business, but I can't help but hear it. One, because they talk too loud, and two, because I have musicians' ears, so I hear way more than I ought to. And like this is how I know that this should not be an adult thing, because it's what I hear all the time as a high school teacher. Um, it's always, well, if you really cared, like you would walk me to my class before you go to yours, or if you really cared, you would wait for me, outside of lunch before going in. Like if you, then you, like if then, like it's science experiments. You know what I'm saying? And so like because I'm seeing that at the high school level, again an immediate trigger that this is not something that should be happening as adults, but it's just that, like, oh, you don't care because you won't blah blah blah. Like that's not, you know relationships, whether they're, friendships, family, significant others, are not supposed to be transactional. That's not effective. Do transactions take place in those relationships? Yes, but if you're keeping tabs and, making a person feel guilty for not showing up, every time that you expect them to, like that's toxic in whatever capacity you're serving for that person.
Super toxic. Super toxic in every way possible. Um, that if then is strong, and you're right. We shouldn't be dealing with it as adults, but I hear it all the time as adults. Again, especially when we're talking about relationships, and it's usually over something trivial that the other person didn't do, right? You know, if you really love me, you would take me to, you know, this restaurant, right? If you really love me, you would, you know, not go to
Stay
work.
home instead of going out
Yeah,
with your friends. If you
right. And that's not necessarily the case, right? It's especially dealing with different people, and I'll say in particular dealing with men. Like, you know, all of us show our affection in different ways. Now, there are certain things that are like principled that, you know, men generally speaking won't do if they really care, right? But we, again, like I said, we're talking about little stuff. Like you said, you know, if you really cared, you would walk me to my class. Like, well, yeah, maybe I could walk into your class, but then I'd risk being late to my class, and I need to make sure that I get to my class on time, right? If you really cared, you jump in the middle when you see some random chick, you know, in the subway getting mugged. Well, that's true, except I have a responsibility to my family to get home to them, so I could jump in and fight that fight and not make it home. I do care, but I have to make a reasonable decision here, right? And I know that's a little bit, you know, I went to like two different extremes on that one, and I kind of did that on purpose, because it's all the same thing, right? It's the same. The principle is the same. The scenario is different, but the principle is the same. You know, so it's
Yeah.
not a.
we got to do
Yeah.
better.
Bottom line, right, is like I was saying when it comes to like that manipulation part, it's the person that's doing the guilt tripping does not care about what the other person has going on. It's me, man. It's almost uh what's the word I'm looking for? It's well, it's definitely selfish, right? It's definitely
Narcissistic.
narcissistic. There you go.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's all about you. Like you're gonna guilt trip them into doing something that you want them to do, regardless of they're gonna be late to class, they're gonna miss work, they haven't, hung out with their guy friends or their girlfriends for the, flip flop. But right, it's just all about that person that's doing the guilt trip. Um, and they don't care. Essentially, they don't care about what the other person has going on.
Shit's
Yep.
selfish, man. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's incredibly self. It's incredibly narcissistic, and a lot of people do it and don't even realize it. Especially this last one.
Number one sign of emotional immaturity is using the silent treatment. This is a manipulative tactic to punish someone who's not behaving the way they want them to.
Now, this goes out to all you people who be blocking people on social media that have a different opinion than you. Now, I'm not talking about the people that block people that are harassing. You know, they're harassing you, making threats or whatever it is. I mean, you got to protect yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, you like Barack Obama and the other person thinks Barack Obama was the worst president ever. That's just a difference of opinion. You can't hear nothing that they got to say. You got to cancel their whole life. You got to block them all out. Right? Your boyfriend broke up with you or cheated on you. And so now all men are the problem.
100%.
So you're gonna give the cold shoulder because it's not just a completely silent treatment. I want this is my opinion on it. Y'all can tell me what y'all think. It's not just a complete silent treatment. It's how you respond because sometimes it's not just quiet. It's the one word answers, right? It's the it's the dismissal of something that you asked them. You know, you asked them a question and they just dismissed it like it never happened, right? You said something to them, they acted like you never said anything to them, like all that kind of stuff.
Triggering.
Yeah, very, very. And again, I see this play out very, very often in the streets, unfortunately, in the world, unfortunately.
We got to do better.
I got a question. My question is, let's say you or I did something, right? You or I did something to somebody else that offended them.
Mhm.
And rather than them coming to us and talking to us about what we said or did that offended them, they just decided we aren't friends anymore. We're not going to talk anymore. And so now you're kind of on the outside looking in like, I don't need, what did I do? Can you at least tell me what was the thing that you're upset with? But no, you can't, because we're not talking anymore. So it could be a difference. The difference of opinion could just be a misunderstanding. But how can we resolve said difference if we're not going to talk, or if one party refuses to speak to the other party?
Now I'm with you. I'll play a smidge of devil's advocate and say that some people, and again, these are the gaslighters, will do stuff like that and then pretend like they don't know why you stop talking to them. So I'll just caution people to be careful in those moments, because there are like, and I like the example you gave kind of reminds me of like the early dating stages. Like, people will stop talking to you, you know what I'm saying, over the littlest thing, or will not have a second date because of the littlest thing, expecting you to be perfect on the first date, as if you know everything about them on the first date. Like, how was I supposed to know that, like, you something minuscule, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the kind of stuff that we see on social media, like, what was the video? Like, the took the girl to the basketball game. She ain't like where the seats were, so she like goes to him at that point. Like, first of all, I paid for you to go to a game. It don't matter whether we sitting in the nosebleeds or on the front row. Like, there's something you didn't have to pay for, and everything
Facts.
expensive at the game. So I'm sure
Facts.
there was either dinner, like, before the game, or food at the game, drinks at the game, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, but just to expect somebody to know absolutely everything that could possibly make you upset on the first date is like unhinged. So in that way, like, it can be a bit ridiculous. But on the other side, some people will do stuff that they know would bother anybody, and then be surprised when people cut them off or act surprised.
Yeah, act surprised. Go ahead, LB. What's your thought?
That video that Kev was talking about was totally cat.
Also that.
Yeah, nah, man. Because first of all, it definitely seemed like a fake video. But here's what I'll say: it's probably not. It's probably not a
Fake scenario.
unreal scenario. Like, that's definitely happened. Of course it has, because there's some unrealistic expectations that certain people have for people out there. Um, uh, and thinking themselves more highly than what they really are. But anyway, um, yeah, I agree with what Kev was saying. Um, I've had one too many shots. I will say that. But
Sounds like I haven't had enough. Wait, how many have you had?
well, there's a pregame, and then I've just been taking shots just cause it's
Okay.
birthday month.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, we laugh. What were we
So
talking about?
uh
There you go. Come on and catch up.
we was talking
Maybe.
about God.
That's how we
Wait,
do after 40. We just take shots the
exactly.
whole damn night.
Yo, real sidebar. Dag it. Who told me this? Oh, mother-in-law. Get this. It's hilarious. She was like, well, you're 40 now. You're going to have to start writing stuff down. Here's
It's
why,
true.
right?
It's
Oh,
true.
man. Man. Yeah.
He probably,
Oh,
he probably,
the
he probably
gaslighting, right? The gaslighting. So, uh, yeah, it's you definitely have to you got to protect yourself. Absolutely. So it's a fine line. You got to have that discernment because there are a lot more, in my opinion. There's a lot more gaslighters out there now. Like it's like people, especially with the social media. It's just you can hide behind a computer and just be like, I'm a gaslight. Uh, so you definitely have to protect yourself. And here's the thing, peace, man. The thing that you're protecting is your peace. All right. We ain't got time for the BS no more. Don't have time for it. Passive aggressiveness. Don't have time for it anymore. You know, the gaslighting, the silent treatment. You know, all of that. The guilt tripping, guilt trip. Okay, yeah. Bye. You know, all of that. We don't have time for that anymore. And especially as you get older, you just realize you just don't have any time for any BS anymore. And so a lot of that's it's got to go. Unfortunately, there are adults again who it's I don't know if it's just ingrained, it's part of their character now or what, but it's actually again it's something that you gotta know yourself to even know that you're actually doing. Some people are doing it and they don't even realize that they're doing this. People are guilt tripping, don't even realize they've been doing it so long. They've been doing it so long. um and you got to call, but on the other end, those you on the other end have to be able to call that person out on it, call them out on their guilt trip, call them out on their passive aggressiveness, call them out on it. Otherwise they're going to continue to do the same thing. They be stuck in their same ways.
I totally agree. Call them out.
Yeah. But even with that, it don't change unless they receive what you're saying. Because
That's
it's
true.
it's some people, who and this, shoots to the accountability part. Like you can tell them whatever, but if they ain't trying to hear it, it's falling on deaf ears. And that's a level of frustration. Like everybody has to be open to criticism. Everybody has to be prepared for a critique. Everybody has to get evaluated at some point. Like you go to your jobs and your supervisors, your bosses, your managers, they all, evaluate you in some way, shape, or form, like, and offer you feedback to better you as a person. Why then would you shut out a person who like loves you enough to want to see the best version of you? That's like, every relationship you have, again, friendship, family, significant others, you should be willing to accept them lovingly telling you, hey, you fucking up, like, and I know you can do better. I know you can be better. I know you can act better. I know you can prepare better. I know you can plan better. Like, you got to allow those people to be in your spaces and in your corners to get the best version of you. If you want to be surrounded by yes men, you're going to plateau, before you reach your full potential. And people just aren't ready for that because they don't know how to accept criticism. And so, like we can say whatever, but if it's not received, it ain't affecting much of anything on the other end.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point. Um, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can give people advice, but you can't make them take it. All kind of stuff. I think two things that were said by you two. Then I'm gonna get into a comment. Actually, I'm gonna do the comment first. Let's look at Diamond's comment here. What up, Diamond? Accountability is important, especially when keeping open communication. People's egos just make everything more complicated than it has to be. Emotional immaturity is all manipulation in a sense. I completely agree with that because emotionally immature people think that everybody needs to be on their side or else they hate them. And I'm not, I'm not here to get into the psychoanalysis of, men versus women when it comes to that. However, that is a very effeminate way of thinking, that you disagreeing with me means that you hate me. It means something so extreme that you hate me and want to cause violence against me. That's a very infantile, immature, and frankly effeminate way to behave, right? And that's for everybody, male, female, and you others.
I was getting ready to say, because don't get offended, ladies, because feminine, right, and masculine, they don't have genders. Okay,
They're subjective.
like I just said, we have a certain amount of estrogen and testosterone, feminine, right, and masculine in our bodies. It just so happens that some of these come see, come saw males out here have a little bit more estrogen than the rest of us.
Well, that's because in often cases, if we're being honest about it, that's because in often cases some adult took it from them.
Listen, so feminine, some of these
Just saying.
guys are out here feminine. Even the straight ones, right? Even the straight ones, they have more feminine, right? So is what he's saying is that that's a feminine trait. It's
Not a
it's
woman's
a
trait.
trait. It's just associated.
What I'm saying is, even if it is a woman trait, that's only an insult if you're not a woman.
Because what is a woman?
Right. Right. It's like if somebody says you hit like a girl, that's only an insult if you're not a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, which would mean you'd have to be a boy, which would mean that your hits are weak. You know what I'm saying? I figured I'd just go ahead and just clear the whole thing out there. Let's just go ahead and walk the whole thing down. That if you hit like a girl and you're insulted, it's because you're a boy. Because the only other possible thing you could be is a boy, and and therefore they're saying that your hits remind them of their little sister's hits. Okay, but again, that's only insulting if you're not the little sister.
Only.
Just saying.
It's a boy.
You know, I feel like it's only insulting if you feel like it's insulting. Because
Yeah.
I mean, there, if you, right, an average Joe, get tagged by a professional female boxer, you might buckle. I mean, if you get tagged, you might buckle.
Listen, Layla Ali's hands
So
was hands.
I, you know, they hit you right, buckle. You might be down for the count. So
SVU made an episode about it.
listen, all right, they be uh uh. I was about to say, I'm trying to find the right way to say it without getting canceled or them flagging the video.
You can say it's only happened to us once.
Uh I'll say it like this. They be, so they be saying, oh, use a cat. I'll just say that. Use a cat. Use a cat. But guess what? Them cats take a lot of beatings.
Yeah.
Cats
take
do
a lot
take
of
a lot of beatings.
they take a lot of pounding.
They do. Hey, they take a licking and keep on ticking.
I'm that if you are what you eat.
So
Hey, and the eating is plentiful. Eating is plentiful. Eating is fundamental out here.
it's a necessity.
Very much so. You know, I'm pretty sure. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure. God did not have it in the book for us to not eat. You know what I'm saying? We can't. Man cannot live on bread alone.
Gotta
You know
have
what I'm
some
saying?
fruit.
Guys, yeah. Not that fruit though. Not
Not
the one.
not
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 the
the
one you
forbidden.
ladies ate. That unmade the world. Not that one.
Not the forbidden one, but there was a lot of other fruits on trees and vines, and
That we had access to. All right.
that we
I'm triggered again. Triggered again. All right, let's move on to this next one. It's kind of a bit of a fair or foul, but in the same vein of calling things what they are. Rich, you were talking about that, about calling things what they are. I want to share this with everybody real quick. Let's take a look.
Ain't no sound.
Fiance and tried to put us onto game of, her system and how it works. Baby, that's work. It's prostitution. Let's just say that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Get your coin. I'm not here to shame anybody, but let's call a thing, right? It's like when you hear girls that are like, nah, cause I need me the scammer boys. You mean thieves? You mean people who do identity theft? Because that's what they're doing. Oh, them boys that be catching a body. You mean serial killers? Because people who have killed multiple people are what? They're serial killers. Let's call it that. Gangster sounds more popping, but that's not what it is, honey. He's a serial killer. He's a killer. Call it what it is, because when we live in illusion, we cannot face reality and we can't make the right decisions, right? It's like, oh, we're in a situationship. No, sweetheart, you want a relationship and this person does not. It's not a situationship. You're with someone that ain't fucking with you like that. That's what that is, right? Like, we have to stop. Because the longer we put names on things that make us feel better, we accept less than what we deserve. We involve ourselves in things that we have no business being involved in. And we make things that are not good sound better than they actually are. And I think that's a shame. And I hate that for us. Let's begin to keep it real with ourselves first. Right? Like, I know it doesn't sound great, but we have to, it's time to just say that. Love you. Black people, I love us, but we're going to have to.
So, I know we missed the very beginning of that, but she said, black folk, I love you, but we got to start calling a thing a thing. We have to start calling things what they are. Rich, I know this is a point that you bring up very often. It's like, okay, listen, if you're gonna be out here and you taking it every other month and every other month, and you've been ridden more than Seattle Slew, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's just what it is, then just call it that.
Call it what it is.
A spade.
Don't try to give it another name. Don't try to make it what it's not. Call it what it is. Live in that reality. Live in what it is. Okay.
Speaking of the reality part, this comes to the problem where we have people that are seemingly attempting to change language, like to change what words actually mean, what definitions actually are, and things of that nature. And I think that people are getting might confused with that, right? They go with the stuff that sounds sexy, it sounds cool to be like, yeah, gangster. But like she said, gangster, you caught a couple bodies, but that means you're a serial killer. Like, let's just call it what it is. You're a murderer. Like, you actually literally in real life have murdered people. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it.
Because if you murder people, chances are you end up in jail, or you spend all of your days watching your back.
Yeah.
Which
Because
then
if you
puts
live
people,
by the sword,
right? But you put the people you love in danger.
Right.
So as enticing as this life may be, you're a casualty of their decisions. Which, we talked about this part. Like, if I'm, if man is to be the head of something, I'm supposed to keep you safe, not put you in harm's way. So, like, how we operate.
but remember, you're supposed to lead all the time.
Well, here's the thing: is remember that you are leading all the time, even if you don't want to be. Even if you don't think you are, you're leading. Men, us especially, are leading at all times because somebody is watching us.
All times.
At all times.
Even if your follower isn't following, you're still leading at all times.
People just don't know how hard it is to lead.
Well,
why do y'all want
when
this
you're
task?
leading. You said what? Say it again.
Like, why do y'all want this task?
This ain't for the faint of heart, baby. Like, do you understand? Don't nobody care about the leader. Don't nobody care about the leader. He leading.
When things go right, it's the players. When things go wrong, it's the leader.
Coach.
100% of the time. When things go right, it's the team. When things go wrong, it's the leader. So why would you want that? I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna say something very unpopular, but I'm gonna tell you why. It's because those women, not you women, y'all that have liked, shared, and subscribed already. We know who you are. We love y'all. Y'all be in the comments. You're all going to
You're
heaven. We're
perfect.
not talking about you.
You're perfect.
Perfect. Perfection. Round. All that.
Yes.
But for the rest of these unqualified garden tools out here, they tend to look at men, those women tend to look at men the same way children look at adults. Follow me. Follow me. Children look at adults being able to essentially move through their home the way that they see fit, with no background on why we see fit, why the adults see fit to move in this way. No background, no knowledge, nothing on why we see fit. And don't kids say stuff like, oh, my parents just don't understand. They don't want me to do this because insert excuse here. They forgot what it's like to be me. They just want to be mean. They just don't want me to do stuff. They want me to be like them, blah, 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 blah. And they just kids make up all manner of reasons for why adults don't let them do whatever the shit they want to do. Well, now you just take that same mentality and you put it inside an adult, most of the time female, put that inside of an adult female. And that's why they get mad at the patriarchy all the time, because they see the patriarchy the same way kids see adults. They see men the same way kids see adults. They had no consideration for why we want to do things a certain way, or why we want sex sandwiches in silence. Not just that, a lot deeper into that. But that's a good foundation, a good baseline. I can say most men want that. No consideration for why we want those three things, just being offended that we want those three things, like a child would if an adult came up with a rule in the house that the child didn't like no snacks after 7:00. Right? There's a reason for that, right? We don't want you to get a cavity. We don't want you to have a toothache. We don't want you to give yourself nightmare, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and fill in the blank on all the reasons. There's a reason we don't want you to have sweets after 7:00, but the child only sees,
no,
this grown-up is telling me I can't have a snack and I want a snack.
They hear no.
It's the same mentality. It's the same mentality. And I know that's unpopular. And I know some people are going to be like, oh my God, he just compared women to children. Yep, I sure did.
That's the reason we call y'all baby.
There's a reason we call y'all baby.
My baby, my baby.
It's our obligation to protect and provide for you the same way we would for our baby. You know? And sometimes the way some of y'all see things, like I said, not all of you. I'm fortunate. I didn't get one of those. I married good. I didn't get one of them.
Hello.
Right? But a lot of women tend to look at their man, their husband, whoever it is, the same way a child looks at a grown-up. Don't get mad. Just make sure you're not one thinking like a child.
My favorite classroom phrase: if it don't apply, don't take offense.
If it don't apply, let it fly.
But we know it applies for a great many of you. None of you that have subscribed already. It's those of you who are watching and have not yet subscribed, right? And who may choose to not like this video. It's you people that need all the help. All the rest of you that already done your due diligence. You guys are already fantastic. I already seen your name written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Y'all are good. You know what I'm saying? So
Should have bought a Honda.
should have bought a Honda. Next one here, real quick, and then I got one more for you. I'm surprised actually we ended up not going to G&T. I know you
I
got a few of them.
I actually said it and we didn't hear it, so I just I I just let it go. Yeah,
You
no,
said it?
a while ago, but I
Oh,
think like we were all talking
Let
at the
it
same
go.
time. So,
Let it go.
damn.
Don't worry, I got you.
I'm sure it's gonna come up in this next one. In fact, I guarantee it's probably gonna come up in this next one. This particular clip that I'm about to share with y'all. I feel like saying I found it fascinating is the wrong word. Fascinating might be the wrong word. It was. I would just play it. Let's do that. I'll just play it.
12 o'clock on the dot. Got Mom Dukes at Frankie's in there joint. Going on. Mom Dukes at Frankie's.
Oh my God, look at this. 12 o'clock.
Mr. Chanel, don't play with her.
Please don't. Oh
Dude,
my God, y'all.
You got that fat
real.
booty.
I didn't buy this on eBay. This thing real.
Blue. Hey, they know you clap. 12 o'clock on the dot. Got Mom Dukes at Frankie's in there joint. Going on. Mom Dukes at Frankie's.
Oh my God, look at this. 12 o'clock.
I'm sorry. I froze because I don't understand. Now let me just say for the record that his mama is thicker than a Snicker, but
For sure. But
I
nigga,
mean,
that's your mama.
prescription Hector.
I
Prescription Hector shouldn't. Huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. RX Hector. That's the name that he chose. Prescription. Because that is some shit that a drug baby would probably do.
Prescription Hector smacked his mother's butt and then recorded her clapping in a restaurant at midnight.
He
I
zoomed
just
in
feel
on her,
like
man. He was
I
like, this one thick right here. That's.
what did we see an age on that? It's I don't know. I got a feeling. I got a feeling. Ooh, because I got a feeling here that you know, number one, she's younger, okay, younger, and he's probably about, I want to say maybe 15, 14 years behind her. Not only that, he was probably the male role in that household. Um, so more of a friend, more of a companion, best friend type
He
deal
was her
going
man.
on there.
He was her man.
Pretty,
Yeah, I'm about
pretty
to say it
much.
sounded like he was a sin husband.
Yeah. So no, not for me, dog.
There is no like
Not for me, dog.
there is no multiverse where
Again, like is this one of those like things like how it's the mommy papi type deal? Is that what this is? There's got to be that what this is, right? It's
that's
got to be.
No, he called her Ma Dukes. We know who Ma
Oh,
Dukes is.
yeah, that's what really sold it too. I was like, oh,
Her prescription
ooh,
said
Mom
we got
Dukes.
Ma Dukes in there.
Ooh, we know Mom Duke. Hey, listen, that means that's official. That means he came from the other side of that. He came, yeah. Uh, huh? What? What?
I guess my question is, are we gonna ask the real question, which is, what type of things was she doing to him? Yeah,
What
yeah,
we
yeah.
said?
I know. We like to stay away from those questions, especially when it's a woman grooming a young boy. I know we like to stay away from those kind of things, but I mean,
Well, we said it was her man.
I'm just saying we don't talk about a lot of stuff.
That's
I
wild,
guess
man.
nobody's going to mention that too. Nobody's going to mention that he felt comfortable enough to do that because obviously the type of person that his mom is,
Patted
you know,
that thing like 3-4 times,
and like
and
looked
it's
excited about like
She had the
if it was her
clappers.
man,
and then said no
if
you
that were
clap.
her man doing
She
that, I would
had the
expect that same reaction.
clappers.
Said that no you clap.
Yeah, if this was a fair or foul, I'm gonna have to say that whole thing is foul.
Ah,
Um,
clearly. The
yeah,
whole thing.
this son
What?
husbandry that some of y'all got going on, y'all got to stop it. Y'all got to stop it. This is just one of the times where it plays out in public, but it's just one
Mm.
of the times. That kind of thing is disgusting. I understand. Listen, look. I love my mama too. I love my mama too, but ain't no way.
Hey,
There ain't
Boy
no
ain't no
way.
way.
Boy, ain't no way.
Boy ain't no way.
hey, I might be reaching, but that kind of just I don't know why this popped into my head, but it's a serious like questions that I've had where like these porn stars they have kids and it's like, well, what happens when the kid finds out like, you know, what you've been doing or were doing or maybe still doing, right? And then
Yeah.
that right there was like that's almost the equivalent of a kid watching his mom. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't that be wild? You think about that, right? Your son, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, discovers Pornhub on his phone, gets to scrolling down Pornhub, and then there go mama. There go his mama with an ass in the air, one schlong in one hand, the other one in her mouth.
And then he go, but wait a minute.
I'm just saying, like, what kind of an effect do you think that
Oh
would have on
God.
a kid? Like I'm serious,
Period.
like serious question. Serious question. What
But
kind of an effect do you think that would have on your child?
but in this instant, he felt comfortable enough to go ahead and tap that a couple times, and she was with the shenanigans to go ahead and make it, round of applause and everything.
Yup.
I, I
He was obviously comfortable. He's obviously been there before.
Too comfortable.
He's
Too
obviously
comfortable.
been there before. Um, that
Too
I'm gonna
comfortable.
say it. I'm gonna say it. Get your shot ready. I only got one more shot left anyway, and one more topic. So I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. All right, because for real, that nigga need God and therapy. Let's call it what it is, yo. He need God and therapy. Call it. How in the crap did that happen? Wait a minute. All right, hold on. For some reason nobody else was on here. I don't know how that happened. Y'all got give me a second so I can get everybody else back on the screen. But while I'm doing that, we are here in the lounge, right, where we actually look at a little bit of therapeutic things here. And we're gonna try to put it together with a little bit of spirituality and scripture. Boom, there's everybody. We back. Okay, so let's see what we got. The man with the cards, the man of the hour, the tower of power, my man's. Kev, talk to us.
Woo. Okay, so we're fresh off of watching a son accost his mother. I'm trying to find a way to transition into these calls. Disgusting. No. Okay, so what? All right. Let's go here because clearly he was more than vulnerable. When was the last time that you felt safe to be vulnerable and trust another person?
Ask the question one more time. I want to make sure I got it.
When was the last time that you felt safe to be vulnerable and trust another person?
I feel like we've had this question before, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer that because at about I'll say approximately 8:25 p.m. tonight was the last time I felt vulnerable, and at approximately 11 o'clock ish, depending on how this goes, I'll be vulnerable again with my partner that's in the other room because I have that liberty to be in a space where I can feel that way, where I can share those things. So shout out to Jessie, my wife, for providing that, for creating that space, for me. So yeah.
My answer also is kind of unfair. I always feel comfortable talking with my wife, and I think if you're gonna marry somebody, you should always feel comfortable in being open, honest, and even vulnerable at times. With the person that you chose to spend the rest of your life with, and that's another beautiful thing about being married in the first place, about good, solid, holy matrimony, right? You get somebody that you can feel honest and vulnerable and open with regularly, and it doesn't have to feel like a task. So the last time I would say was pretty recently. I mean, we talk about so much all the time that it probably was today or yesterday or whatever. Like we both kind of create that space for each other. Shout out to my beautiful wife as well, and happy early birthday. She hits the ripe old age of 34. In about an hour and a half, man. So we're really excited about that. Don't worry. She will be her birthday will be brought in the right way, giggity. So, but seriously, like that's I usually feel that with my wife. I'll say also, my family in general is pretty tight. So, we've also kind of had a space created for years where we can just be honest and open with each other. And usually my mom, sometimes me, but usually my mom, that could be anybody, my mom, my sister, my brother, sometimes me, sometimes Savannah, it depends. But can usually show up with, if we're feeling really down about something, with words of comfort, words of affirmation, and usually a scripture to go along with it. Because in the end, it's bigger than us, right? So, yeah, short answer. Whenever the last time I needed to be was probably within the last 24 to 48 hours.
And so because I'm not married, but no, I'll say earlier today, just being able to talk to the bros and get some, things off my chest. I'm forever grateful to you all for allowing me to be, vulnerable in space, to keep it a stack with me, but to also, know where, like, where and what I need in that moment, because those conversations always look different. Sometimes I just need like y'all to be a sounding board, and y'all are just like, all right, we hear you, and everything's gonna be good. And sometimes, I need to kick in the ass, and y'all are like, this is the direction that we need to go. And then other times it's just like anything you can possibly imagine. So I would say, this particular morning, I needed space to be vulnerable. And of course, I trust my frat brothers with my life. So, glad to have that space with, some good brothers to be vulnerable in that way. I'll even go back, a little bit to add some different context. So last weekend was Junior All State, and I had been away from these types of activities for, I want to say, since 2018. And I had, a run-in with a former executive director who had basically blackballed me from the organization. So, I found myself very vulnerable walking into some spaces that I wanted to be in, but were still triggering to be a part of because I took what happened before. So, I ran into a dynamic group of forward directors, band directors, orchestra directors, advocates for the arts that, kind of saw what I needed in that moment and allowed me a space to be vulnerable enough to take in, like the weekend, Grace being back in the space. So, for a person who, just needs like what you need in the moment, it's nice to have circles that you can tap into to get what you need from them in the moment. So that would be it for me.
I first of all, I appreciate you, man. It's always good to have those spaces. If you're not married, for those who are not married, I know there's a great many of that as well. To have those spaces where you can be honest and open and upfront and vulnerable. But another key that you said, Kev, was that you could say what you needed to say, but also could hear what you needed to hear. Right. And I think that's the point. Nobody, you can't grow in an echo chamber, right? Somebody or something has to kind of stretch you a little bit to help you, see things a different way, see things in a slightly different perspective, slightly different light. So you need that sounding board to kind of say, hey, I hear you. However, I think these are the adjustments you need to make, or these are the changes you need to make, or whatever the case may be, or just keep on doing what you're doing. I think it's important to have people who are going to be honest with you, as honest as you're being and open as you're being with towards them with your feelings. They got to be able to be honest with you too, and not saying you specifically, but whoever you are, has to be able to accept that. Be able to accept that criticism or discussion or guidance or whatever it is. That's big time. Create more spaces. The theme, I think, for that one was create more spaces. Get yourself involved in more spaces where you can be upfront, open, and honest, and be yourself. You don't have to worry about anybody judging you, right? And judging you, criticizing you, or giving you feedback isn't necessarily judgment. You know what I mean? That's another one of those words that got kind of switched around. And like when you say to somebody, I don't think you're doing this the best as you possibly could, they'll reply, "Don't judge me." And it was not. I'm not judging you. I'm judging your behavior. I'm judging your actions, right? And you absolutely are supposed to judge righteous judgment, right? The Bible says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." When you talk about placing condemnation on people, but you're also supposed to judge people for their actions. You're supposed to, you'll know them by their fruit. You'll know a person by the fruit that they produce. If you're not judging that person and the fruit that they're producing, then you could get got by anything. So you have to know and judge that person based on their behaviors and based on their actions and the things that they do. So, There you go. There's the God part of it, right? You know, judge not lest you be judged, but also you need to judge behavior, judge righteously, judge righteousness, judge righteous judgment. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, because otherwise you'll end up going down the path of the backslider, right? And I'm not trying to make this necessarily a religious discussion, but if you are trying to go the right way, if you will, then surrounding yourself by people who are not trying to go the right way, who are not actively working on going the right way, is probably going to have you being tossed to and fro. You know, so it's good to be in spaces like that with people that are going in the direction that you're going in and who want to see you succeed. Some people, you know, some people want to see you successful as long as they're also successful too, or more successful. But to have a space with people that want to see you succeed because they want to see you succeed is beautiful, man. So shout out to you and shout out to the bros. Pi Ada, yeah, we too smooth.
Yeah, baby.
All right, last one for the road here. Let's take a look at this one. A little bit more of the makeup between men and women. If y'all haven't noticed, we kind of break that down a lot. You know, some of the differences between men and women, which, like I said, men and women are different, and that's okay. And that's kind of the point that we want to make, is that men and women are different, and that's totally okay. We just need to understand each other's differences. Kev and I, although we're very similar in a lot of ways, are also very different in a lot of ways. In order for us to be able to coexist, we have to be able to acknowledge each other's differences and figure out how we're going to work together with them. Same thing with Richard. You know, same thing with my wife. My wife and I are completely different people. We're two different people, but we work to understand each other so that we can move forward together, like a three-legged race. You know what I'm saying? Like, that person has in their mind how they're going to move their body, and you have to try to get your body to kind of move along with them so y'all don't fall. It's kind of the same thing. So anyway, shout out to you, Diamond. We appreciate you. You guys have created a great safe space here to be open, honest, and vulnerable. Just give a big hug, kudos to you all for making a difference here on this platform. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And we appreciate all you guys in the comments. We appreciate y'all. And that's really what we wanted. We wanted to be able to create a space where people could, you know, say what they need to say. Because we don't grow anywhere if nobody says what they need to say. Everybody's too scared. Everybody's too scared to offend everybody. Too scared to speak your piece because you don't want to offend somebody.
Share your truth.
I don't give a shit with none of y'all. I don't give a shit what none of y'all think, but please like the video. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, let's go on to this one real quick and well, that ain't the right one. See, share this tab instead. There we go. All right, see, we live. All right, here we go.
Space between the infant and the mother. The boy infants would try to knock over, climb, or move the obstacle, and the female infants would cry. So the boys would try to problem solve, and the girls would just vocalize their distress. We see it in infants, where boys are problem solvers and girls just want to hear, they want to be heard that they are not okay right now. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're on Patreon listening to this, you've heard us say over and over again that if you go to your man with anything, his first instinct is going to try to problem solve. So if you are just venting, it needs to be stated, hey babe, I'm just venting. I'm going through it and I need you to have a with me. Not meaning that he's going to sit there and with you, but you can sit there and just all you want and he will listen. And I don't know if you want him to brush your hair or something, say that. But boys are born with the instinct to problem solve to get to where they want to go. A study was done with infants where an obstacle was placed between the infant and the mother. The boy infants would try to knock over, climb, or move the obstacle, and the female infants would cry. So the boys would try.
Interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, I was talking on mute. Okay.
Well,
because
you know what that means.
Yep.
That's what I mean.
Yep. I wanted to play that last part again, the very beginning there, to kind of give the full context. So obstacles were placed in front of boy infants and in front of girl infants. The boy infants tried to move the obstacle out of the way, tried to solve the puzzle, solve the problem. The girl infants cried and wanted to make it known that they were not happy that there was an obstacle in their way. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
I definitely think that's interesting, especially in these babies, because that's where I'm still today. It's like if you don't preference, if you come to me, you tell me a problem, and you didn't preference it. My first instinct, my first just right off the bat, I'm like, all right, bet, let's solve this problem. Let's go. It's like putting a puzzle in front of me and asking me not to put it together. It's like, come on. Now, if you preference it, if disclaimer, here's the disclaimer. Yes. Sure, absolutely. I won't even waste time. No, I probably still will be thinking about solutions, but I won't voice them. I'll be like, yeah, really? That's what? Oh my gosh. What?
It's her.
It's your world, squirrel. I'm just trying to get a nut. And so, I'll leave it where it is. As long you don't give me the disclaimer. But again, I'm trying to solve that sucker. You bring it to me without a disclaimer. I'm trying to solve it here. Okay, bet. Boom. Here's how we fix that.
And if you bring the problem and give no disclaimer, like don't get mad at the results of, you know, whatever it is. Because, like Rich said, we're problem solvers. So not only are we going to look for a solution to the problem, but we're also going to like address your role in like whatever that is. Because, typically when you hear a story, there are three sides. It's your side, it's their side, and then there's the truth. And so like, you gotta find your place in in that scenario. Like there's something you could have done to contribute in a more productive way. There's something that you said that didn't need to be said. There's what I'm saying? So we're like, as problem solvers,
No.
we're trying to find your role in it, because certain aspects of this could have been avoided if you had done this, if you had waited until this happened, if you had asked this question instead of assuming, you you got a role in that scenario too. So you know the the problem solver part of us also has an accountability factor attached, you know what I'm saying, to it. So again, you got to make it very clear, hey, I just want to piss and moan, and I need you to hear me and agree with me. Cool, I'll run with it. But don't, this was my problem, because problems need to be solved.
Right. I will say my wife has learned that lesson. When she wants to just complain about stuff, she'll tell me, "Hey, look, I'm just venting. I just need to get this off my chest." Great. Okay. Cool. I'm not, like I said, I'm gonna have the thought. Well, like Rich said, I'm gonna have the thought about how to solve the puzzle and fix the problem, but I'm not gonna voice it because you told me that's not what you're here for. Right. I'm gonna internalize it. Exactly. I'm gonna bring it all the way in, and it's just going. It'll bubble up. It'll bubble up. I might get on and talk to the bros the next day about that dumbass thing that you that you did, because I got to get it off my chest. But no, I probably won't do that. But either way, the bottom line is, if you make your request known, right? You make it very clear what it is that you want, because as you saw from the infant stages, we want to solve problems. Got you, Kev. We want to solve problems. We want to get to the bottom of things. We want, especially if we're talking about just from the standpoint of how we feel about our ladies. We don't want you in distress. So if you have an issue, you come to us with an issue, you doggone right, I want to solve that. I want to solve that puzzle ASAP. I don't want my wife worrying about stuff. I don't want my lady worrying about things like that. And so many times, just in my life, again, my wife has learned. We have had a lot of trial and error with this, right? Um, praise God for growth and progress. But we used to I used to get hit with that all the time. Women would come to me with their issues, and I would do two things: one, figure out what the problem is and how to solve it, and two, um, this is the accountability piece, is figure out how to make sure that this doesn't happen again, so that we don't repeat this problem. So that's where the what you could have done better part. I'm telling y'all some good shit, ladies. All right, the you could have done this different, or you could have done this better part is about avoiding this. It's about avoiding this problem coming up again, because I don't want to solve the problem today and have the exact same problem on what's today, Friday? So on Sunday, and have the exact same problem, and have the same exact same problem on Tuesday, and the same exact problem on Wednesday, and so on and so forth. Right? If we trying to solve the puzzle, we trying to fix the problem. Well, I'm trying to fix the problem, and I'm gonna give you preventative measures. And a lot of times, the preventative measure is going to be something that you can do, because you only can control your attitude and your activity. You can control what you do, and you can control how you act when you do it. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
So yeah, I hear you. So here's what I'm gonna say to that is, so I'm gonna try to make it a two part, because I think as men, or at least for me, right? I'm like, I always wanna solve the problem so we can get back to her being happy, or her being in a good space, or her being, getting over what just happened. But as men, and I'm gonna just add, and now here's where the question part comes in: is, do you think that there is uh, some I don't want to say merit, or is there something to not solving the problem, but allowing them to be in that space of the sorrow or the negativity, or just be in that space of, this is what happened, and they just want you to be in that space with them as they process it, and I feel like that's something that I had to learn. Was like, I always wanted to hurry up, solve the issue, boom, you're happy now, boom, let's have fun now, get over it, type of deal, right? Whereas, no, 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 for them, they want they want somebody to be in that moment with them, to kind of, in a sense, go through it with them, as if not to be alone. And ladies, you can sound out in the comments if I'm right or wrong, or what your opinions are, what your thoughts are on it. But I kind of got that vibe, and I think I heard something. I think I heard something about this, and I don't remember where it was from. It's definitely on IG. And sometimes some people, or even as a partner, they want you to just be in that space. Like, it's a is that empathy, right? They want you to just, don't solve it. I just needed you to hear me. I just needed you to be in here, in that space with me, to understand this is something that happens, or this is something that I went
Yeah.
through, because I didn't want to do that alone. I want to, this is something I wanted to share with you, so that you could, like, like, or, or, just be in that shared, emotional experience. Whereas, again, like I said, for me, I wanted to always, all right, boom, solved. Let's go. Let's get over it. And that's some, that's just part of the masculine trait, where, we want to fight about it, and then boom, next day we boys, we dapping it up. Oh shoot, like, because I'm trying to tell you, I've I would say that I have, like, physically fought a lot of my friends. Back when we were younger, it was like I fought a lot of dudes that I fought ended up being pretty good friends. Really good friends. You know what I'm saying? And of course, there's your we wrestle and fight anyway. But I'm just saying, like, I think there's a difference there when it comes to the feminine, where they want you to be in that space with them more so than just solving the problem and getting over it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's something for both sides to understand, that for the ladies to understand that men, if you give us a scenario, we're gonna try to figure it out. That's our natural instinct, our
Very
natural
natural.
God-given instinct. And your natural God-given instinct is to make your voice heard about what you find displeasurable, what you find distasteful, and that's fine. But now that we understand that, the question is, how do we move forward? And I think you brought up a good point, Rich, is that you move forward by making it very clear what it is that you want, and for men to understand that sometimes women do just want us to be in their space while they, go through whatever it is that they're going through mentally or emotionally, right? Sometimes they just want us to be there. And as ladies, it's the same thing for us too. And I'll also say, I'll end this by saying, and that under no circumstances do either side want you to throw that piece of vulnerability back in our face down the road, right? So if I'm solving a lady's problem, the lady comes to me with an issue and I solve that problem, she's not going to want me to throw back in her face that I had to solve that problem down the road. And if I am as a man and I'm venting to you as my lady, and I'm telling you what it is that's going on and what's bothering me and all of that other kind of thing, what I what I don't want is for you to then throw that back at me, that whatever I had to deal with this thing or that thing. So there's that too. We have to learn to be able to hear each other and understand where the other person's coming from. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that for the time being. We'll probably jump back into that again next week. Let's look at these last couple comments. Having empathy is everything. Sometimes solving doesn't mean you understand how it feels. The empathy will allow a woman to open up in a space for the problem to be solved. And that, Rich, that's exactly to your point. That's exactly to your point. Just understanding how you feel, or that you feel the way that you feel, and potentially why you feel the way that you feel. And I understand, and I validate the feeling that you feel. And when you're
Validation.
ready to solve this problem,
I'm here.
because there is a way to solve this problem. When you're ready to solve this problem, come holler at me. But I do understand. I've learned how to say that a lot. I understand why you feel that way. I understand why you feel that way. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I've learned how to say that, because and that's neither a concession. Like, I disagree or agree. I just understand why you feel that way. So
Yeah.
let's see. Let's look at these last couple. I know I need to sit with something heavy sometimes, especially if it's heavy, or a big problem. I'm rushing through a thought or a problem. It doesn't always help me to make the best decision moving forward. Rushing through a thought or a problem doesn't always help you make the best decision. Exactly. And so that's why they need us sometimes to be in that space. So very, very, very well said, Rich. Very well said. We are over time. We got to get out of here. Thank you guys. We appreciate y'all. Of everything that we do here, we appreciate y'all. Kev, take us out, brother.
Um, I, you know, you just, you just. All right, we're surviving and advancing. But as always, I'll say, take care of yourselves and each other. Um, mental health matters. Easter's around the corner, spring break's around the corner, so we're just holding on a little bit longer. Hopefully you had a good drink in your system. Hopefully you walked away with something that can help you to, be a better person going forward. Hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace, 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 peace. Tell a friend. Catch y'all next time.
What's up? What's up? Hey, thank y'all for sticking with us, joining in, all of that good stuff. I had talked about determination at the beginning of this episode. So whatever you have committed to do, stay committed, finish the race, stay determined. And also, I would challenge you to, ask yourself these questions. Like, ask yourself questions. Find out, what really makes you happy. Find out what are your strengths. Find out, when are you your best self. My family, I because of a best friend of mine, a great mentor of mine, gave me this idea to write out 10 positive things you like about yourself. And so my family, we took on that task, and we're going to say that. So we wrote all 10 things out, and we're going to say those 10 things before we go to bed, and we will wake up in the morning, much like affirmations. So take some time. If you want to take on that challenge, do that. 10 positive things about yourself. Write it down. Say it in the mirror. Say it in the mirror to yourself before you go to bed, and when you wake up, and everything in the mirror. Actually look in that mirror and look into your own eyes, right? Look into your own eyes and describe what you're feeling. And then again, after those, do it for 4 days. And then on the 5th day, see how you feel. See how you feel about yourself. And I think this is going to have a great positive impact on my family. Y'all can let me know next week how, if y'all took on that challenge. Let me know how it went. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to definitely let y'all know. So, and you know what? I challenge you to bring somebody else back on here with you. Like, subscribe, share. Man, we love y'all. Thanks for joining. And be easy, be safe. Be fine like wine and get better with time.
Deuces wild up here, man. Thank y'all again for joining us. They said it. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I often talk about how, there's a war out here for your mind. And so I think it's important to bring some of these things to the forefront. And we're going to try to do the best that we can to bring more things to the table, create that safe space for us to have a conversation. Agreeing and disagreeing is not the point, but it is for us to have a conversation so that we can be able to find common ground and move forward. That is the important thing. So, guys, again, I appreciate all of y'all. Take care of yourselves. Big shout out to my baby. Happy birthday one more time, babe. I love you so much. Good old 34 coming through in about an hour, not even an hour, less than an hour. So in less than an hour, the house will be a rocking. Don't come a knocking. All right. I'm just saying. We call it like it is. We bringing forth the oak. All right. Enough trash talk for me tonight. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all again. That's it.
The Royal Oak. That's Royal Oak. Happy birthday, Sav. Happy birthday, Trey. I hope you bought your appetite. Let's go.
The appetite is always at the ready, baby.